Parties that went on until 4 a.m. Belligerent staffers brawling and berating maintenance workers. Well, that's just some of what's revealed in a report published today on the illegal events that took place at the heart of British government during the COVID-19 lockdown. The scandal has engulfed Prime Minister Boris Johnson's premiership and is now threatening his position. Though Johnson said he takes full responsibility for the events, he's been firm in saying he will not resign.
And whatever the failings of Number 10 and the Cabinet Office throughout this very difficult period, and my own, for which I take full responsibility, I continue to believe that the civil servants and advisers in question, hundreds of them, thousands of them, some of whom, Mr. Speaker, are the very people who've received fines, are good, hard-working people.
Now let's head live to London and speak to our reporter Vincent McAviney. So Vincent, now we have both the Met's report, we also have Sue Gray's report into what went down there at 10 Downing Street. But what does the British public think about all this?
Well, I can tell you, Per, that in the hours since the report was published, there has been a snap poll by YouGov, and it has found that 59% of British people think that Boris Johnson should resign now as Prime Minister, and that includes a quarter of those who voted for him to be Prime Minister back in 2019. Consistently over the months since this scandal broke, Boris Johnson's numbers have been falling. His trustworthiness, his leadership capabilities, and Keir Starmer has been reaping the benefit of that. And today, it seems the public, although the Prime Minister thought that some of the steam in all of this had been lost, the fact that the weeks have gone on, the geopolitical situation has changed, it has been clear this week, first with the leaking of that photograph of the Prime Minister at an event which looks clearly like a party, which was Lee Kane's leaving do, where he didn't receive a fine, but others did. In the 2 days since that photo came out, public anger has really been building. And that's exposed in this poll that's come out today. And that's something the opposition parties are keenly aware of, calling for the Prime Minister to resign. And I think particularly some of the details, the vomiting in Downing Street, spilling of red wine, and that treatment of the security staff and the cleaning staff, some of whom were said to have objected to the parties going on, that is really cutting through all the noise. That's something that British people particularly don't like, that those that were looking after them in Downing Street were treated badly, as well as the text messages we've seen of the civil servants saying things along the lines of, we seem to have gotten away with it. Don't do this until the cameras have definitely gone from the press conference. So there seems to have been a bit of a malicious intent, acknowledged that they knew that they were doing wrong, but they still did it anyway.
So, Vincent, what are you hearing from Westminster? I mean, is there a risk that Boris Johnson may be facing a vote of no confidence?
Well, it was noticeable that in the statement the Prime Minister gave after the Prime Minister's questions on this report, the backbenchers behind him really cleared out. He wasn't getting a lot of support from his own side as he was facing a barrage of questions from the opposition parties. Now, tonight, what he has done is, after the Prime Minister's questions and that statement, he has done a press conference where he took a lot of questions from the media. He's attempting to drain all the poison in one afternoon. This evening, he's meeting with his MPs in Parliament. He's trying to assuage their fears. They know that unless someone sort of steps forward to try and replace the Prime Minister, that in the next sort of 48 hours, someone like Liz Truss or perhaps Jeremy Hunt or Rishi Sunak, although that seems less so because he's been really damaged by this scandal as well, picking up his own fine for that birthday party. Unless someone moves against him, the Prime Minister seems to be staying in position. But that will mean that they are locked into him for the next general election. That can be latest 2024 or perhaps as early as 2023. They seem to think that even though he is damaged, he is the one to stick with. And the Prime Minister will very much try to reset the narrative tomorrow, because after weeks of saying there would be, despite business calling for it, the trade groups, all sorts, calling for a special financial statement, he and Rishi Sunak will unveil a new package of emergency measures to try to deal with the fuel crisis and the cost of living crisis. Fuel has skyrocketed here in the UK, as well as the cost of food, some of that as well, down to Brexit implications finally kicking in, but a lot due to the Ukraine war. That was something that the public have been giving the Prime Minister the benefit of the doubt on, his handling of Ukraine. But the economic impact is really hitting now. So tomorrow, I think we're going to see a full wave of things like a windfall tax on energy companies to try to help people with their pockets and to try to reset his prime ministership.